Welcome back to another episode of Let's Chat Podcast, y'all. I am your host, JoJo.
And I'm Zyra.
Ooh.
We're back.
And tan. I mean, I'm not as tan as her, but it's okay. I'm getting there. I'm going to be darker than her real soon. All I need is one beach day.
We did have a beach day.
Yeah, but that was like the first one of the year.
Oh, okay.
And I got this tan with the first one. Oof. All I need is one more.
I don't even think summer has started. So, like, you're good.
It started for me a long time ago, though. I always want to be tan.
Wait, now I need to Google this.
It's actually weird because doesn't summer start like at the end of June?
Yeah.
And we be thinking like, when May
June 21st.
Honestly,
so, June 21st. So, this week is when summer starts.
Officially.
But we've been on our summer chat.
Yeah. Once April comes, I'm like, it's around the corner. And then April showers come and smack you in the face. And then you're like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was summertime.
Right.
Really mistaken.
Right. Anyways, but happy Juneteenth, everybody. It is a holiday. And if you don't know what that is, we about to let you know. Because you guys know I'm about like educating people. And at work the other day, somebody was like, what is that? Like, why are we off? And I'm like, oh my God, like people still don't know what Juneteenth is. That's crazy. I'm gonna read something to y'all though, because I gotta Google it. All right, so obviously Juneteenth is like June 19th if you were a little lost.
Those two together.
Yeah, right. So it marks the day when federal troops arrived in Texas in 1865 to take control of the state and ensure that all enslaved people were freed. The troops came a full 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, where President Abraham Lincoln didn't actually free all of the 4 million men, women, and children held in slavery in the U.S. Juneteenth honors the end to slavery in the United States. On June 17, 2021, it officially became a federal holiday. But you know something? I didn't know this until it became a holiday because of like the movement that was going on during the pandemic with Black Lives Matter and everything. Like, I actually didn't know about it until it happened. Yeah. So we're back. We left and we didn't record an episode last week, which is tragic.
Yeah, we left y'all high and dry.
We really did.
And I'm sorry for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Pride Month, so I gotta get my gay shit going.
So I was looking at my I guess like my New Year's resolution list, but I didn't call it that. I forgot what I called it before. But I had like goals or I had like wish list. I don't know, but I remember each month I just wrote a word. So like for March, like finances, like I need to get my finances in order. For June, I wrote spontaneous.
Technically, we did.
Yeah, because we bought the flights last minute, which we told you guys about, and I was like, I don't know, like I'm not trying to go, blah, blah, blah. But we loved it. Well, I loved it. It was my first time. You guys know that I said that I needed to try In-N-Out to see what the hype was, and I got the hype.
Well, for those of you who don't know, we went to LA for Pride.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you said that.
I don't know if I said that either.
Yeah. So that's what she's referring to.
Yeah.
She had In-N-Out for the first time.
Mm-hmm. And it was delicious.
She loved it.
Yeah.
I'm a Jack in the Box kind of gal.
It was reminding me of like Five Guys.
Yeah, that's literally what I was saying. I was like, this shit reminds me of Five Guys. It was like, okay. But I don't think it's worth the gas.
Oh, you think In-N-Out was okay?
Yeah, I think it was okay.
I don't know.
I mean, it was good, but I don't think it was like
heaven
sent.
Oh my God, I can't with you. But it was good. I loved it. And then remember how I told you guys that like I wanted to see the Hollywood sign? I saw it. Did I hike it? No, but I saw it. I took a picture from far. We was driving and we saw it.
Yeah.
And it was nice. I really liked it. Something that I did notice is that there is a lot of homeless people. And like people say that about like LA, New York City and things like that. But I feel like in New York City, you don't see their little homes. But in LA, they had like little tents. And I was like, oh my goodness, like there's literally so many homeless people, which is so sad because I just think about like when it's so hot outside or like, I don't know, when the weather is bad, like what?
Yeah.
What do you do? And I had seen something online that said that like a lot of homeless people actually have jobs. They just can't afford like living by themselves or they don't have nobody to live with. Like they're already working a job. God knows how they do it. But
We forget we gotta eat, pay a phone bill,
right.
transportation, like
That's why sometimes when you see them, like they be having things, like maybe they'll
mhm.
have a phone or something like that, but it's like they work
Yeah.
somewhere.
I'm about to say you make just enough to even get to work, like
Right.
so then to add on like housing at that, I don't know, it is a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all in all, LA was fire.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what did we do? Friday, we
We went to a
we
taste event,
yeah, we went to a taste event.
the cowgirl
Um,
one.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
was
was fun.
litty.
Oh my God. Shout out to Amber. So we met a listener there and we were literally chilling with her all night. Like
Yes,
we went to VIP, we was taking shots, we was having drinks. She
yes.
literally ended up giving us a ride home, which was super nice of her.
Thank
And
you.
she was just so nice. And
Yeah.
like she had said like this is out of my comfort zone and I said that's totally fine. Like I'm low-key an introvert too. Like I feel like I have my highs and lows. Like I'll be very talkative and outgoing, but then I get tired and I'm like I need to sit somewhere and just
Yeah.
like be low key. But yeah, I love like, meeting people and like just getting to know them.
Yeah, most people we were talking about it earlier that they'll see us and they're actually pretty shy.
Hmm.
You guys would notice us before we notice you, you all only because we're on the screen, you see us, you know.
Obviously.
So just don't be afraid to say what's up,
Right.
and I fuck with that.
Hmm.
However, if we're somewhere really loud, potentially a club, I'm sorry, I'll be trying to listen, but the music just be hitting me, y'all.
She's deaf.
I just be trying to. I don't. When we're in like a, I guess so to say, a club environment, and I hear music, I just want to dance, and
Uh-huh.
and I try to keep conversation, but I think it's really hard in that point.
I'm
Um,
definitely more of the talkative one.
yeah, she is.
Like I really get in your face. I'm screaming in your ear.
Yeah. But I did get to talk to Amber and she was super nice. Plenty of things in common. So yes, again, shout out to Amber. You
Hmm.
were a lifesaver and we're glad that you chose to be out of your comfort zone with us. I
Right.
hope that we helped you, you know, allowed you to feel safe in sharing your energy, space, and time with us. So
Yeah.
thank you.
There was something that happened and I was like shook and Amber was like, shit like that happens all the time here. And I'm like, really? I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But that was Friday. Then Saturday we went to the Pride Festival where we saw Mariah Carey.
Yes.
That was cool. She's popping. She literally
She still look
looks
good.
she looks good. Like sometimes I feel like you see celebrities in person and you're like, no, she looks good.
Fire.
Yeah, fire.
Yes. That we were there like all day, by the way.
All
We were
day.
at that festival
We
all
was like the first
day.
ones there, I swear to God. It was so
Yeah.
empty
It
when we got
definitely
there.
got super packed, but it was okay. I was chilling. After that, we went back to the Airbnb. We could not make it out. We went to sleep immediately.
One thing about the festival that I'm gonna tell everybody, it's expensive, right? Just drink before you get there. No, because it's like you're spending like $150 on the ticket, right?
Yeah, I didn't drink.
I bought 3 drinks, $100. Can you believe that?
And it probably didn't even get the job done.
Right. Like, and then I was like, do you guys have a Long Island iced tea and LIT?
Mm.
And they were like, no, we don't have the ingredients. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they have just the ingredients they use to make
Like they have a certain drinks and
yeah.
you can only get basically those certain drinks. They be claiming that you could get something else, but it's like you don't have the ingredients, so what's the point?
Right.
But regardless, I had a good time. It was definitely an experience. There was a lot of things going on there. There was like
Yeah.
another stage there and they had like
A lot of food
a lot of
vendors.
food vendors and just like a lot of like gay organizations.
Mhm.
And I ended up stopping at one. Damn, I forgot the name. But I got like a free hoodie from them and I was so hyped because it was
Yeah.
freezing. Yo, it was cold in LA. I came so unprepared. I thought that it was gonna be like sunny how it is on the East Coast. It was in the 60s over there.
Yeah.
Like I was really cold.
It was cloudy all weekend.
Yo, I was freezing. I was like, I need a hoodie. I can't. I was
Yeah.
ready to buy like an expensive ass hoodie.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, what did we do Sunday? Oh, the
Sunday
festival.
we
The other
did
festival.
so Sunday was the actual Pride Parade,
Mhm.
which we had planned to go to, but considering how tired we were, we slept
Tragic.
in. We ended up getting breakfast and then we got ready to go to the festival, I guess
Like
where
the LA Pride.
yeah, the
The
actual
after.
yeah, right after the
Mhm.
parade. Which in my opinion, was way better than the actual big festival.
It really was. We
Shocker.
literally
And it was for free.
for free for
It was for
3.99.
free.
And then there was a bar right in the it was a bar right in the corner that was like
Of the main stage.
kind of
Yeah.
empty. So we would go in there, get a drink, use the bathroom, come back out.
Yeah.
And we came literally right in time for Eating and Jay, like their performance, which was like reggaeton, and they were lit. We was right at the front. We saw so many listeners, and you guys were so dope. Like, we have you on social media. I loved it.
Preciosa Night is lit. First of all, they killed the entire set. That entire hour that they were up there, it was a vibe from the very first, like, just them getting on the stage and introducing their whole thing to the very end, which, I mean, essentially we left just in the nick of the end. But the turnout was crazy. It was just lit from the entire, like, listen, if you saw me shaking my little booty, you saw me shaking my booty. But I honestly was surprised too, because we actually had so many people recognize us at that.
In that little section.
Yeah, and that during that time. And at that festival. And it was just like, wow, that's lit. Like, so many people. And it was just,
I love it.
It was just nice. You know, it brought a lot of, like, gratitude.
Right.
Because not that we expected to see so many people, like, I don't think we're at that level yet where everyone knows who we are, but, you know, we got fairly a decent amount of recognition.
Yeah, even after that, we were like, I was like eating a salad on the back of a truck.
Yeah.
And like people were walking by, and then we saw some other listeners there. Yeah. And I loved it.
Yeah, so that was great. So shout out to everybody who saw us, took a picture. You know, if you didn't post it and at us. Yeah. We will repost. Love all that. And I think that ended. Oh, we went to the all girls party. Yeah. All girls event. If you don't follow them, follow them.
Girls only.
Oh, my fault. Girls only.
And it was all white party.
It was all you see how I'm getting yeah. I'm still trying to put the pieces together, y'all. So yes, girls only. If you're from LA, they're doing their thing. They're coming out having women only parties, which was actually really fun.
I really fuck with them. Yeah. Like, I mean, taste events are always like lit, but like I said, I'm an introvert at times, so I feel like sometimes it's just too much for me. But if you are like really, really trying to get lit, like, you gotta go to all the taste events. They had like a yacht party. They have so many theme parties, which I love. Like, I'm a big, I love to dress up, like, if it's Halloween. So for the cowgirl thing, I was like, taking my hat out, my cowgirl hat, my cowgirl boots. Yeah, she was ready to rock. Yeah, Sunday I had like the most fun. And Sunday we also saw like a lot of like influencers that we recognize, and for the most part, like, they were cool. Yeah. But I'm gonna be real with y'all. There's like something in the air with the West Coast when it comes to, like, I feel like there's certain influencers, I'm not saying any names, but it was like they were like really Hollywood. And I was like, ooh, like, I don't think it'll matter how many followers we have. I don't think we will ever get to a point where we think that our shit doesn't stink. Yeah. Like, I feel like we always remember where we came from at the end of the day, right? Yeah. So, like, I really appreciate everyone who comes up to me and says something to me. Like, I'm just a big fan of you guys doing that, and just like listening to us and listening to our podcast, because like, we're taking an hour of your week. Like, that's a lot of time. You could be doing anything else, and you guys are listening to us. So that's my 2 cents.
A lot of the people we met at that party were nice. And I always tell her that usually when I see somebody that I follow on social media that I think is cool, I don't usually say hi, because I just feel like I never know. You know, I'm just not a person to be like, oh, hey, you know, I follow you, unless it's like something brings us to that point. But if I see you and I'm all the way over here minding my business and you're minding your business, and, you know, you're obviously having your time and you're with your people, I feel like it's an intrusion for me. Yeah. And because I don't think that I would take it well in the event someone is not as welcoming. But for the most part, you know, we saw a lot of people, and I told her we're going to see a lot of influencers that we follow and that we like. And we did. We saw a lot. And I was like, babe, look, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, oh my God. And I was like, okay. So she went up to people, said hi, hello, simple. We took pictures, gave hugs, and it was a vibe the rest of the night. So I do appreciate everyone who saw us at that girls only party and was super welcoming and nice.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. It goes a long way.
It does. It does indeed.
Yes. So that about sums up our LA Pride weekend.
Yeah, that's our catch up, which is super long. Let's get to it.
But no, lastly just a very big shout out to Taste Entertainment and Girls Only. That was a great time, and thank you guys for welcoming us again. That's it.
That's it.
All right, so without further ado, here we are, because I feel like we're a little late.
We are late.
We're
late.
We're not that late. We're a few weeks behind, but I think it gives people time to catch up on the series.
Well, by this time, you should have watched it already.
Yes.
Come on now.
If you have not watched The Ultimatum Queer Love, then you should stop right here in this very moment and go watch it. If you're interested in reality series, only because we're about to ruin it for you. We're about to ruin the whole, we're giving the tea, we're dropping the juice, however you like your drink.
But I feel like, okay, so I was a big, like, I hated reality TV. Like, I hated it. But I feel like the Queer Ultimatum, it's like real. Yeah. Like, I feel like sometimes when you watch things like Too Hot to, I don't watch it, Too Hot to Handle and like, dumb shit like that, it's like it's just not real. Like I feel like they make drama out of something, but I feel like the Queer Ultimatum was really real. Like a lot of the things that was going on in there with these relationships are legit. Yeah. So I recommend watching it for sure. And if you don't know what it is, do you want to explain to them what it is?
Okay, so The Ultimatum is a reality series where it's 5 couples. Yeah. So about 5 couples come in, and one person out of each couple is giving their partner an ultimatum to marry me or to break up. Yeah. Like, leave me alone. Majority of them were anywhere between a year to 4 years, the longest together. So they bring their partners on, and in the beginning it starts off as like, well, why did you issue this person an ultimatum, and why don't you want to marry your partner? Like, what's the purpose of you guys being together then if that's not the goal for you or the future that you see? All the couples are together, and then they break up, and then they're all 10 singles. Now everybody has to date a new person. You go in a trial marriage essentially for 3 weeks, like she said. And then after those 3 weeks are up, you spend the 3 weeks back with your partner to reconnect and see if this is the person you still want to be with. And that's pretty much that. And in the end, you make your decision. So that's The Ultimatum. Yeah. Now, out of all of them, who do you think you would like go for? Who would be your trial wife if you were in this reality series?
If I was on The Ultimatum with you, I would pick Lexi or Mal. Okay. Uh-huh. Who would you pick?
I would pick Mal. I ain't gonna stunt. I would pick Mal. And believe it or not, I would pick Ray.
Ray? Yeah. Really?
I think I would.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
I think that's interesting too.
that would be real interesting, like 2 like masculine women together, because I don't think it would be that. Some people shame that. Some people shame it.
It would have been lit. I think me and Mal would have vibed. Okay. It would have been Gucci. Like, okay. I'm not gonna throw out the fact that we're all Virgos or whatever, but I think she was dope. I think, like, not that anything had to come out of it, of course, but masculine or not, we still hold a sense of femininity. So I think once the vibe check would have passed, you look past the whole masculine thing, So Mal, I would have picked you, and we would have had a good 3 weeks. That's it. Ray, on the other hand, I thought that she was nice, and I think the sense of, I can be a shy person, but from what it seems of how shy of a person she was, I think that I essentially would have liked the challenge of breaking her out of her show.
Oh, you're like a Vanessa. Don't tell me that.
Girl.
I could see that. I mean,
Because you never know.
I
Because
feel like the show didn't really highlight her personality
yeah,
because I don't know if it's well, she's on social media now, like making like funny videos
yeah,
and like skits and things like that.
right.
And like now we see her personality, and everyone's like, why didn't we
What?
see this during the show?
Right.
But it's like being on camera is not for everybody. Like
Mm-hmm.
you never know how you're gonna act. Like maybe you'll do too much or maybe you'll shy away. So
Right.
it's like I think the whole thing really is a scary experience, especially when you're putting your relationship
On live.
on live. Like that is so personal, right?
Yeah.
So
Shout out to
yeah.
everyone who went on there and did it though, because
Mhm.
like she said, that is a really big deal to put it out there for the world. Yeah, everyone has social media. You're kind of already doing that, but you're not really. When it's on TV, like that's real shit.
Mhm.
And, I just want to say shout out to the entire crew and cast. And you guys are all beautiful and you did your thing.
Mhm.
Okay.
So all right, so let's talk about like what we didn't like about the queer ultimatum and like what people were talking about online. So the show was hosted by this actress. Her name is Joanna Garcia, and she's not queer. And I think it was like on the first episode, somebody asked her like if she was queer, and she said no. So I think having someone as a host who's not queer is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many queer like put That's So Raven there. What the hell is her name? What's her real name?
Raven Simone.
Raven Simone. Put
Yeah.
Raven Simone or like I don't fucking know. Somebody else. I've honestly never seen her before though, so that's just me talking shit. And I wonder if they do another season if she's gonna host it. She wasn't a bad host, but she during the reunion she was very scared. Like like I feel like she did not know how to like control them because they was really coming at each other, and you could just see her just looking left to right, like it was like a lot, like there was a lot of big personalities there, and I feel like she was just being like really nice, and I mean
Yeah.
she wasn't being annoying, which is why she wasn't bad. Like I feel like with the previous host they would ask like the dumbest questions that had nothing to do with anything, like
I just
when are you having kids and shit like that.
I just wonder how that like happen? Like how did they choose who would host that?
So another thing that people were mentioning was when they advertised this queer ultimatum and they were putting commercials out, whatever the case is, they were putting their pronouns, their name and their pronouns, she, hers, they, them, whatever the case is. And throughout the show, they did not show that. And there was some of them that went by they, them. Aussie went by Aussie. I think Sander went by they them, and I mean that's something big for the LGBTQ community. So I feel like to not showcase that, it's like what the fuck. Like all you had to do was literally put their name, like put their pronouns next to their name as they're talking.
I feel like I seen it at one point.
When
I don't know.
when they advertise for
I
it.
don't know that it was the. Are you sure? I thought I saw like maybe at the beginning. Maybe it wasn't throughout the um entire series and
Mm-hmm.
in their interview one on ones,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought I saw at least once.
Mm.
But I would say when they were advertising it,
Yeah.
it was some of that.
And okay, so the last thing that I feel like they did that they haven't done in other reality TV shows is that they were showing a lot of like sex scenes. And I feel like yeah, you see that in other like reality TVs, but it's only like for a little bit, like 2 seconds. And in this we're seeing like girls ass cracks. Like it was like Mildred and Tiff in the beginning with the lingerie.
I think that was the only one. No,
No, and then no, they have shown another one too. I don't know, it was too long though. I feel like it was like,
I think that one was
why y'all
too long.
highlighting this shit?
Um, I just think that it was a little exaggerated. And it's like obviously who doesn't want to see two women in an intimate,
Uh huh.
scene, but I think that was over exaggerated
It
for
was.
sure. So I think it was more cringy than sexy. It was for me at least. No shade, but yeah, I think it was extra.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I guess that's all the bad
Yeah, for sure. All right,
juice we got from it.
let's get into the couples because there were a lot of interesting girls on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first couple, Xander and Vanessa.
They take the cake. They were
Listen,
together
and
for 4 years, y'all.
Vanessa is a Virgo.
Is
Yeah,
she?
yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
And they were together for 4 years. They've been together since like high school or some shit.
Mhm.
I don't know, something like that. And I thought she was pretty, whatever. And then I got to know her personality by what the show was showing. And it was giving narcissism. It was giving cringy. Like, literally on the first episode, she already pissed me off because of what she said to Mal.
Yeah, she wasted no time.
I'm like, oh my God.
Like,
Don't be so thirsty.
yeah, I can understand. Like, okay, you guys are about to be exes in like minus however many hours, but you didn't even wait till we walked out. Like, you didn't even there. I feel like there was no sense of reassurance prior to the separation experience,
Right.
and that already is alarming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd have been like, hold up, what's up with you? Like,
Yeah, like chill.
yeah, like you're good. Your time is coming. This time
Uh-huh.
is why I do it right now in front of like shoot your shot later.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess she thought that was funny.
Yeah.
She said, most of her behavior was based off of being,
Trying to be
funny
funny.
and
Mhm.
not so serious because she couldn't, she's not one that likes too much of serious, but it was just like,
Yeah, but it's like self-awareness.
yeah.
Like have some of it.
Yeah.
Jesus. There was so many scenes like throughout the show. I don't know if we could show them, but I did have one where she was talking to Lexi. They were on a date, and she said that she thinks that Sander is asexual and basically making it seem like Sander would never find someone, which is why they're on their show. Because she thought she was going to come on the show, have a little fun,
And then go
get
back.
social media famous, and then go back to Sander. And Sander was just going to be like,
Come here, baby.
right. She was like, I'm beautiful. Okay. Your personality is trash, though. Truly. You showed it in so many scenes. And like, then there was another scene where they were talking and she was saying like, I looked over your phone and I saw that you were texting Jolie and blah 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 blah. And then at the end she said I love you to Sander, and Sander didn't say it back, and she was like, say it back, say it back. That shit was like so cringy to me. I was literally like screaming. Do you remember that scene?
I'm here for all the self gas and the self boast, but she was doing a lot in a sense of like, okay, now tell me about me. I know I'm cute. I know I'm popping. I know I'm da da da. I also agree in a sense of like she really thought Xander wasn't going to find anybody.
Yeah.
And I think she thought like Xander was so sure about their relationship that she wasn't even going to give it a try.
Right.
And she was rudely mistaken.
Really.
Yeah. And I knew for a fact that at the end of her trial marriage with 3 weeks with Ray, that she was going to go back and play this soppy, like, I love you. That was whatever. And that's mostly because she knew that Yoli and her had that connection. So that's where that low-key fake shit came.
Yeah.
She had to fight for her, but I knew it was done up. I was actually excited that Xander,
Me too.
explored that and took it serious and actually realized like, oh shit, like I'm better than this. Like I'm better than what I'm getting. It doesn't change the fact that you love the person, but you definitely realize what you deserve.
Right.
So I'm proud that she experienced that and like noticed that. That was very good of her.
Yeah. I feel like when she saw that Sander was like slipping away from her, is when she's like trying to love bomb her, taking her
Mm-hmm.
on this like hot air balloon ride, reading a love letter. Like it's like it was given very performative to me. Like you're an actor, and I feel like if you can't speak from the heart,
Mm-hmm.
throw this shit away. Like she had multiple letters. Like that wasn't the only one. I think she did that shit again, and I'm like, why can't you just speak? It's because you are fake. Like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Um. So yeah,
Couple number two, Aussie and Sam.
mate.
All right. So initially, I thought that they were cute. You know, they seemed like they were well put together. Um, Rudely mistaken. I don't know what else to say to that, but really mistaken. Sam is, I feel like she was what she portrayed herself to be. And that was very, very nice,
Hmm.
very kind, very supportive, and
Right.
um, how do you say that? Selfless.
Hmm.
And then on the other foot, where it seemed like Aussie was the same, not saying she isn't, it was just her ability to handle conflict was unbearable to watch.
Yeah. Aussie had her bag packed. I feel like throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was multiple scenarios where they were quick to just like leave. And I hate that. I literally hate when people just leave. Like, what do you want me to chase you? Like it's like be real.
Right.
Where are you going?
So essentially, when they broke up, the people they matched with, God bless them.
Tragic.
God bless them for matching with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Aussie matched with Mildred, and when it started off good, and we are like, oh, okay, like
Mm-hmm.
they're getting along,
Mm-hmm.
and then the table turned. It didn't even turn. That shit flipped.
Mm-hmm.
It got crazy. Mildred was coming for Aussie in a sense of like, well, and initially it made sense. It was just like, you don't do all these things that you said you were about, and I'm trying to express to you what it is that, you know, I'm concerned about and what's frustrating me, and you don't want to sit down and have this conversation. So I understood that sense, and of like, you run and can't confront these issues for us to find a happy medium. Um and I kind of felt bad for Mildred that her experience was kind of cut after that because Aussie did leave.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Sam with Tiff, essentially they were really good. But the initial like home living situation with the dog,
Yeah, that was the biggest drama.
that yeah.
But I think back to Sam and Aussie, like I feel like I feel like Sam deserves more. She deserves
Mhm.
better because I feel like so Ozzy was 42 when this was filmed and they still hadn't come out to their parents. This was filmed over 2 years ago and they're still engaged. When is the wedding gonna happen, bro? Like what are we waiting for? And you're in your 40s. Like I'm sorry, but I feel like I don't know. Like it's like what is the hold up? Okay, the whole not coming out thing, people come out at their own time. But it's like if you're so committed, then it's like, why haven't you got? You don't have to have a wedding to be married. You could
Mhm.
go to the court. You could do something small, like. So I feel like I was hoping that in the reunion they would have said like, oh, like our wedding's coming up or
Mhm.
something like that. And I feel like there's still like a lack of commitment there from Aussie, and I just feel like Sam was so like strong when it came to like her like emotionally. She was just like
Mhm.
very mature, and Aussie was like going through stuff and like going through some childhood trauma that like I would love to see that she said that she's going to therapy or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Cause it was like when they were crying like outside, it was like really crazy. Like the things that they were saying, I was just like, oh my goodness, like this is a lot. This is a lot. And
Ve-
Sam was putting her foot down, so I supported that
Very easily triggered.
for sure, for sure. Um, but yeah, back to Tiff. Um, Tiff and Mildred. Yeah, the whole dog thing, like nobody wants to sleep in their bed with a husky. At least I don't. They're so big. Those dogs are humongous. They're a whole
Yeah.
person. And it's like for someone you just met to have to like you want the dog like how big is this bed? It's a queen? It's a king? How big is the bed? You know, like I feel like that's not weird for people not wanting a dog to sleep with them. I know a lot of y'all sleep with your dogs, but it's not weird if someone doesn't want to sleep with their dog. They just don't. And that's it.
I want to sleep with my dogs,
Yeah, and I
my little
don't.
babies.
I let them take a nap for a little bit, but I'm not sleeping with them all night.
All in all, I think that Tiff and Sam's trial relationship or
Hmm.
marriage was turned out pretty well. I think they
Yeah.
found a medium and a common ground, and they learned from one another, which I think that that's where their communication skills and handling their own conflict with
Hmm.
their original partners came into play. So I think that that
Yeah.
turned out well.
I think so too.
Again, Mildred and Aussie was a tragedy, and I actually didn't expect that. I expected that, it to be it was 3 weeks, like, I don't know. I don't think it's that long of a time,
I
but
don't think so
I
either.
didn't think they would turn into such turmoil.
I didn't think so either, but I think it's because Mildred said a comment. We're talking about Mildred, right?
Mhm.
Mildred and Aussie. She really said that her attitude is because she's Latina. And I don't claim her for that because all you're doing is putting more of a stereotype into Latinas being a spicy Latina and having an attitude. And it's like, don't use the I'm a Latina card. Like, that doesn't look good for nobody. Like, that was terrible.
Yeah, when she said that to Tiff, and Tiff was like, "What
Mm.
does that have to do with how you're treating me right now? Like, what does that have to do with the way you're speaking to me and being disrespectful? That doesn't give you a
Mhm.
pass or, a right
Yeah,
to be so aggressive and nasty with me."
right.
And to her, it was kind of like her response was like, "Well, I'm gonna be loud and I'm gonna be, yeah, you can be loud and express yourself." But it's like, that doesn't mean people have to take it. That doesn't mean someone has to listen. Like, be
Yeah.
considerate, you know?
And that has nothing to do with your race
Yeah.
at all. We're going to talk about what happened in the reunion after this, but let's go into Ray and Lexi. I really love them.
I thought that they were cute. They were actually the
Hmm.
youngest out of all couples.
Yeah.
So I
Lexi
thought it
was like
was,
24.
yeah. So I thought, and I think, well, Ray was like 26 or something.
Hmm.
So I was like, this is I mean, essentially, I guess it's early,
Hmm.
but I was here for it. Lexi, I fucked with Lexi in a sense of she came, she knew what she wanted, she was mad up front with everything. So I thought that that was cool.
Hmm.
She was never, well, I won't say never. Initially, she wasn't too nasty. She was super respectable, um, and really just came about what she came here
Yeah.
for, and that was either to leave with her partner. Either way, it was like she knew what she wanted.
Hmm.
But it was a little off for me because I was like, do you want to come here to marry Ray, or was it
Hmm.
that you just wanted to be married, period? Because then when she got with Mal, was just asking all these things. And I mean, I guess that was the point of that trial marriage and
Yeah.
like getting to know the person that you're essentially compatible with. But
Hmm.
it was like a little questionable for me because then I was like, okay, so I'm confused. Do you just want to marry, period? Or is it that like you do want to marry Ray?
Yeah.
But all in all, I,
Hmm.
I actually liked it, Lexi. And then when she came for Vanessa, it was rough.
She keeps it real. That's
Yeah.
why I like her because she was not biting her tongue for nobody. She was like, what the fuck did you come here for then?
Yeah.
Literally, what? So I love that about her. With Ray, I liked her. I just feel like they didn't highlight her personality,
They
so she
didn't.
just seemed like very quiet and timid. But I actually was not surprised to find out that they're not together anymore
Hmm.
because I feel like they're kind of opposites. And sometimes opposites do attract, but for some reason I just didn't see it really.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
I just agree with the fact that I don't think that they highlighted Ray enough
Mhm.
to like really know and be like, okay, she's actually all right.
Right.
She probably would have been cool. She was one of the better looking ones. I'm gonna say that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lastly, though, Mal and Yoli.
Ooh.
So
What was your first thoughts about Mal?
so Mal was dope.
Mm-hmm.
Mal was giving me, fly guy vibes,
Mm-hmm.
real smooth criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she she knew when to pass the vibe check and when to be like sincere. She just knew how to play her part. I fucked with it. I thought that she was pretty dope, but there was some times where you're just like, you being a little shady.
Yeah.
You being a little smart ass, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I think the her and Yoli's situation and her reasoning behind not wanting to get married was that she needed to get her shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Just me personally, I don't feel like you have to have everything together. Kind of sounds like you. Maybe that's the Virgo thing. Like that's the idea that you have to have all your ducks in a row to
Yeah.
get to all these places.
But listen to this. When this was filmed 2 years ago, Mal was 36.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not shaming anybody, but at the same time, you're pushing 40. When do you think you're going to be ready? Like, it's like, then you're never going to be ready. If you keep
Yeah.
waiting, then you're just never going to be ready. Like, I feel like you got to a point where you're like, if I want to be with this person, like, let's settle down. Like, the other girl was literally 35. Like, when you want to get pregnant, that's the age. Like, after 35, there's a lot of complications. So I feel like I love Mal. But as soon as I found out that she was 36 when this was filmed, I was like, wow.
You're big on numbers.
No, but she's like 40. She's 38 now. And she doesn't look it like at all. But I'm just
Right, I'm about
saying,
to
like,
say.
it was like, this has nothing to do with horoscopes. But I feel like some Virgos, like, when they know, they know. And I don't think that Mal knew.
Yeah, that's what it was giving. It was just like, okay, I will say that I am guilty of it. I've done it. And it was just, you think that, oh, it's all these things first and then I can commit. And in all actuality, that's just excuses and ways to get around actually committing.
Yeah,
And
when
I
you're
think
that
that
age, absolutely.
I think that her reason, and it made sense to me, was the fact that she didn't feel secure enough in the idea that she knew that Yoli would fall in love for someone else.
Yeah.
She's a I love everybody type of person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, that's just from obviously the show and the conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big turnoff for me as well. I don't want someone who loves everybody. I mean, shout out to the people who can do that. I wish it was easy for me to fall in love or like just easier, I guess. But it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been a real insecurity for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
To know that we can break up right now and in 3 weeks you're already jumping ship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, well, how much did you love me then?
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just me personally.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that reasoning was fairly valid.
Yeah. I don't know. I really liked Mal and Lexi together, but I also didn't see it.
Yeah.
There was a 12-year age gap, and age gaps aren't a big deal, but I feel like some people thought it was weird because Lexi was 24, Mal was 36. But I feel like the way that Mal and Lexi would speak about each other, like when they were like at the dinner table, was like wow. It was like love bombing. That's what I took out of it. And I feel like at first Mal was like super into it, and then like on the last night, she was just kind of like, I didn't know we are gonna have this conversation. Like when they were like laying in bed, and like Lexi was saying like, I don't want to leave. Like you're my soulmate, like things like that. I feel like that's when Mal was like, hold up, wait a minute. Yeah. Like, let me back up. Like it was like, and then you could also see it when Mal's friend met Lexi.
Oof. Hold up.
That was so tragic.
That was rough.
That was so tragic.
That was so rough.
That was so uncomfortable
to watch. I'm all here for being the real friend and telling your friend what's up. But that shit was like Lexi should have just not been there. It should have just been a meet with Mal and her. I would have
But you
respected
know
that
that they
conversation.
gotta do that. They have
But
to meet
but
somebody.
basically it was just like homegirl was not amused. It was really like Lexi wasn't there. And I was like, damn.
Like I don't know what her friend was more shocked of. Like what was she like shocked of?
I don't know.
Her age, race, like what? Because it was I don't remember the scene, but I just remember it being awkward.
She was really down for Mal's relationship with Yoli, and I get her, standpoint on I've known you guys for this long. You guys been together, regardless of ups and downs. This whole experiment, which I get, it sounds crazy. 3 weeks you with some John that,
Right.
so I get that idea. But I also think you gotta know your friends, y'all.
Yeah, I'll be like,
your
you know what?
friends.
This is the last time I bring you around the cameras.
Yeah, like I'm all for being real, but like that was a little much.
I felt like Lexi probably felt like a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I would too.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I ain't come
But I
here for
mean,
that.
they had a really good conversation where Mal asked Lexi, "Have you ever dated like a black person?" And I think that's like a very important question to ask because I feel like that's like a tough conversation to have and people don't have it and you need to have it because you don't want to be in an uncomfortable position where if you are black and you're dating someone who's white, let's say their parents are super like, like racist and shit, like nah, yeah, you gotta speak about that early.
Yeah. Some people didn't. I seen a TikTok saying like these people that were conversating about that, and some people really weren't okay with Lexi's response in a sense of I didn't initially when I seen you. What stood out to me was that you're masculine.
I actually didn't like that response either. I'm gonna be real.
Right. And
Because it's like, so you're saying that you're blind.
The argument about that answer was that masculinity relates to that race. It's almost like you might as well have said that I didn't notice that you were black.
That's what I thought too. And I was like, people was loving their relationship and I loved it too, but I was just like, no, like, I don't know. I think that in those 3 weeks they had a really good friendship, and I think that right now they're like really cool friends.
Yeah.
They do a lot of shit together. They're like besties.
Yeah.
So I think something came out of it, which was good,
All in all, I fucked with them.
Yeah. So Yoli and Xander.
I fuck with I like the fact how Xander turned out to be. Xander, found their true selves. It was just like I was proud in a sense of Xander didn't go back and feed back into the bullshit with Vanessa. I totally understand being in a relationship for especially that long period of time. And if I'm not mistaken, they were together since high school or something.
Something like that.
So kind of when that's all you know, and you could tell that initially Xander was really, really about Vanessa and seemed as though she was a little bit blind to Vanessa's bullshit.
Yeah.
And you could tell because she would defend Vanessa in the times where these people were coming for her and talking their shit.
Right.
Which I could understand because essentially that's still the person you love.
Right. And everyone's coming at her like you gotta defend her. Like how does that look? But I love that too. Like she literally chose herself.
Yeah.
Well, they chose themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like they had like these puppy eyes the whole time. Like I feel like they were crying so much throughout the show. And I'm like, but then when
a lot of things, a lot of emotions.
Right. But then when they were with Jolie, it's like they looked like they were having a good time.
It's Yoli, babe.
I always say her name wrong. What is it?
Yoli.
But I did want to see them together at the end just because I love to see people like together. So I feel like with Mal, I don't know if their issues were going to be resolved because it seemed like it was like a lot of issues going on at home with like Yoli picking up after her. I don't know, weird shit that they was arguing about, and I just didn't feel like those things were going to be resolved. And Mal was so patient. like that scene where Yoli said that she had to talk to, I don't know what she said. She had to get some closure, right? And they were holding hands for like a really long time at this like whatever it was. And I'm like, if I was mad, I would be so mad.
I was here for Yoli and Xander. I thought it was cute. However, I was just like, Mal was right. She's gonna fall in love with this girl.
Uh-huh.
It's too easy. I'm sorry, I'm not here for easy. So
Right.
that would have been done up.
Mhm.
So yeah, essentially I was here for them, wish them the best. Especially Xander was obviously in a situation where she was getting the shit that she deserved, the type of love that she deserved. 3 weeks or not, that was probably the best 3 weeks out of the 4 years that she had. Who knows? But like you said, Mal was very
Very patient.
patient,
Like they were like, I understand that you're in love with two people. Like it was
supportive.
like, I
Yeah.
don't like, I don't know how you're doing it. I know this must be so hard for you.
Yes.
Like so supportive, like to the point where people thought they were like they've had an open relationship before or something like that. There's also some rumors going around that apparently Mal cheated on her before the filming. So I feel like
That's why she was validating it so much.
right, like it's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like it's like we really don't know, and like we try to get them on the pod, y'all. We tried. I DM'd them before they got famous because now they had like 200K, and I'm sure they saw the DMs, but now
Who
we're just gonna
knows?
talk and we're gonna talk our shit. But yeah, I don't know what rumors are rumors. I don't know what it is, but
How Mal handled that situation
was
honestly was,
amazing.
yeah, I think that was the example that people needed to be like, okay, you validate them, but also being conscious of how you feel
Mm-hmm.
with having and receiving that information
Mm-hmm.
from that person. But me personally, like you said, when they were fucking holding hands and shit,
I'll be
nah,
like, girl.
done up,
I'll be like, girl, what
done
closure?
up.
Like now I'm getting involved because
Yeah.
what closure?
My thing is, you're not. So you've been on camera. You know the cameras are everywhere. I don't know what it is about reality TV that people
They
forget. How do you forget?
How do you
It's in your
forget?
bedroom. It's in every
You
corner
got you
of
got
the.
some shit attached to your back.
Yeah.
There's multiple camera guys. How do y'all forget that the cameras are looking at
It's
y'all?
the going to the corner and whispering when you got a mic on.
You got
Even
a
if the
mic
cameraman
on.
can't see you.
I would never, bro. I would
Now I get
never.
it. Reality TV does its thing by making you look shady, but that shit was rubbing me mad wrong.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Mad wrong. Yeah.
I didn't like that. I was like,
there was essentially really no respect in that moment. And if you could do that knowing that I'm just around this pillar,
right.
That's just not it.
And Mal was really being the bigger person. And then it was so. All right, we're going to move on to the reunion now because the reunion was crazy. The reunion of the Ultimatum. Were you surprised that so many couples weren't together after they proposed?
Well, first of all, everybody proposed, and I already knew it was all bullshit.
Girl, as they were proposing, me and her was just like, nah.
Yeah, like
why are you
because
proposing?
nobody wants to be left on red. Nobody wants to be left alone.
Nobody wants to be an asshole on camera.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I low key thought that Yoli was gonna be like,
she was gonna, right? No. But what bothered me is that she said yes. Then she goes back to Sander, muchacha. Like, doesn't look good, bro. You look confused. Like and then no.
She was, and that was all right.
And that's fine. But I feel like what would have sat, like people are a little bit upset with her right now, right? Because of the reunion. I would have loved to see them at the reunion together.
Oh, her so it's and like Xander.
You guys went through all of this.
And all then for nothing.
Saying I love you, talking about kids, looking at her bank account. Like it was like a lot of, you guys were digging deep. And I don't know if Sander felt like they needed to be by themselves for a little bit since they were in a relationship for so long. But I feel like the happy ending would have been, okay, you and Mal broke up. Okay, so you and Sander together, right? No, it wasn't like that. So we're all left like, why aren't you with Sander if you guys were so in love during the recording on your 3 weeks and shit like that?
Maybe not even together, but
Maybe giving
trying.
it a shot or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. But I feel like we didn't get that. It was kind of like we saw each other, then she came back, whatever the story was. But we have to keep in mind this shit was filmed
2 years
long
ago.
ago. So I could understand nobody being together now. But I wasn't surprised because I feel like all those proposals were bullshit,
They
other
really
than
were.
maybe Aussie and Sam.
Oh, but when
But I
Aussie
think
came
that
out with that
was
rock,
yeah. I was actually hyped for Ray and Lexi because I was like, yes, like good for y'all. Y'all found y'all
oh
way. Y'all
yeah,
knew what was up.
uh-huh.
Um, and they were actually still technically engaged at the reunion,
Hmm.
but I was not surprised to find out after that they were no longer together.
Hmm.
And Lexi actually has a whole new shorty, which I mean, good for her. It looks like they match each other's vibe.
Hmm.
So that's what's up. And Ray, like we said, I feel like Ray's on social media. She looks like she's really showing herself,
I'm sure her DMs are flooding.
Mm,
I'm sure. I'm positive. She's definitely
probably.
gonna find someone.
I think they'll all
Not worried
find their
about
own
that.
person.
Um. All right. So we gotta get into the situation with Tiff and Mildred at the reunion. Okay. So I'll give you guys a recap. At the reunion, Mildred basically admitted on camera that she was arrested for domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
She threw a gate at Tiff. She threw a picture frame that shattered, glass was everywhere. She was throwing her clothes down the stairs. A big old it was a big ass fight. How do you think that people would react if the like roles were reversed and it was Tiff who did that to Mildred?
First of all, I'm super surprised that she mentioned it herself. And I'm guessing that she potentially maybe have mentioned it herself is because she maybe thought that Tiff was going to put it out there.
I would never bring that up.
Right. Like it happened.
And I
Whoever
don't
knew,
think Tiff
knew.
was
I
gonna
don't
bring
think it
it
needs to be
up.
on TV. Yeah. I don't
Cause
think Tiff was
It
either.
was like I don't think Tiff was gonna bring it
It's
up.
not like it's something up like necessary to share. Like I think that was definitely something to keep private if it happened and whoever knew knew. Um but I think that Mildred was coming up with a lot of shit to throw shade and make Tiff really look bad.
She did. Like I
And
mean the things that Mildred was saying that Tiff was doing. So apparently Tiff was like bringing girls to the house. She found
wasn't
she found like eyeliner or something. She found makeup. Like basically like Tiff was just being a fuck girl in the girl's house. Tiff wasn't paying bills. Tiff wasn't doing shit.
yeah, wasn't doing nothing, wasn't accepting her
Her
son.
son. It was like a
Crazy,
like
crazy shit.
crazy shit. Like to the point where I was like, what?
At this
Like I was
point,
a little shocked
it
by
was
that.
becoming Jerry Springer's. I just thought like here's my thought process is knowing all this shit, you apparently were together for 2 years. 2 years prior to coming on this show. So you telling me this was not like her normal behavior? So this has never been an issue for y'all. And now all of a sudden it's an issue. She doesn't work. She doesn't pay rent. She's being a fuckboy. She doesn't get along with my
She doesn't
son.
have
So
a
in
job.
2 years she didn't have a job. She wasn't
Yeah.
okay, maybe you guys didn't share space, but you didn't in 2 years, you didn't none of that had came to
Yeah.
light. I don't know. It was just a little questionable for me.
And they had said that apparently they had gone to couples therapists and their therapist basically like was done with them.
Yeah.
That's a big red flag. If you go to couples therapy and your therapist is like, y'all needed to break up, then that's big.
Yikes.
That's big. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like regardless of what Tiff did to Mildred, I don't think it ever needs to get to the point where you're like putting your hands on somebody, throwing shit. Like, come on now.
I think at that point you do realize, okay, we need to separate. This is no longer once it's past
Hmm.
that threshold, that's it.
Yeah, and then like just talking about it at the reunion and the way that Tiff was like getting so upset and like Mildred was so calm. I was reading comments and people were saying that like that's like narcissism behavior. I don't know. People love to throw these big words. I'm not calling her that. I'm just saying that sometimes the person who is actually like the bad one is the one that's calm.
Mhm.
And Tiff was like getting so upset to the point where she left. and she didn't come back. I
I
wanted her to come back though, because you can't let this girl control you. She was like, you don't have, Mildred told her, you don't have power over me. No, it's the other way around. I
Mhm.
feel like you need to come back because Mildred does not have power over you, Tiff. Like, but I feel like there was so many emotions there that it was like, there's no way that I can go back into that room with that girl. There's like no way.
I think Tiff had every right to leave.
Really? And not
I
come
think
back?
she had every right to leave, and me, I would have left too.
Really?
Yeah, I absolutely would have left because when someone is just saying all these things about you, and it's like, what am I here to prove? She was right. We're not together. I don't have shit to prove to
Mm-hmm.
anyone. I don't have shit to prove to her. So for me to sit here and get bashed and bodied on television just because she wants to make me look and perceive a certain way.
But she played herself because the one that looked bad was her.
Exactly. So that's why it was like to her, to Tiff, it was like, I don't need to go back in there and listen to this shit.
That's
We're
true.
not together. And I think that she was experiencing so much emotion, and it's like when someone comes at you like that, and your characteristic and the type of person you are, that's really hard. I think that when you're in a space where nobody knows who you truly are, it can be very overwhelming to sit there and be bashed in front of people,
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, yeah, people are going to have their idea and believe who they're going to believe, but it's just like, that's just a lot to take in. And to hear the person that you were in that relationship and you did love or were in love with to even come
Yeah.
at you like that in front of so many people, it's a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah, the whole thing was tragic. The other thing that people were saying is that it was weird how supportive Yoli was of Mildred. I think she checked up on her at one point during the reunion. I don't know if they're friends. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's really hard to make these assumptions. I don't know if they're ever going to see this or hear this. Yoli does follow us, but it's like we're speaking on what we were seeing. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're speaking on what we're seeing on the screen. There could be so much shit happening in the background that we have no idea about. Right? So it's like we don't know the full story. We're literally speaking on what we see, but it was a little bit weird to see her being so supportive. Whatever. Um
I think all in all, having this conversation and, you know, speaking on everyone, I I don't want to say that it's coming from a standpoint of like knowing who these people are,
no, we
because
don't know
we
them.
don't.
Hmm.
Again, like you said, we only know what television shows. But I think we can all sit down and agree to the fact that we've experienced people that have
Those
those
characteristics.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Like, this is relatable.
Right.
So it's not to say you guys aren't shit or like these people are bad people or
Right.
nothing. It's not to shit talk the people themselves.
Uh-huh.
I think it's just some of the personalities and
Hmm.
characteristics that relate to so many people,
Right.
that it's just like, that's triggering.
Hmm.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Like,
It
that's
was
a
just like a
good.
lot of triggering stuff, I feel like a lot, like each person in there reminds us of someone we probably dated in the past.
If not someone we dated, the person that we have been. And I
That's
think
true.
that's what a lot of it for me was, is like, oh, I've been that person. Oh, I've experienced that person.
Hmm.
So in a sense, that's where we find the relation. And I
Uh-huh.
think that that's more so what we talk upon.
Hmm.
Um, that's why I said in the beginning, shout out to everyone who was able to go on to this
Yeah.
show and give their, you know, vulnerable and authentic self.
Hmm.
Um, it was a pleasure to see, all in all.
Right. I
Um,
agree. For sure. The drama, it was real.
yeah.
I love to see that like there was like femme on femme relationships,
Yes.
something that you don't see that often. Like I feel like usually you see mask femme. So it was good to see like that. It was good to see representation. Like I've talked shit about reality shows all the time, how there's not enough, but I feel
Yeah.
like they had some. Like they had Latinas, they had Mao, they had a good mix, and then they had mask and like feminine. So I was impressed by the people that they had on.
One step at a time. I think they were
Uh-huh.
like, here, let's just give them something.
Right.
So it it did what it
Mhm.
could.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's it. That's all the juice we got. I guess that's our take on
Yeah.
the ultimatum queer
Wait,
love.
wait. I have one more comment about Mao
Okay.
and Jolie. Like,
Yoli.
Yoli. Mao, there was a point where she was like telling this girl about herself.
Mm-hmm.
And um I feel like Mao felt like she looked bad on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think she did at all.
Mm-hmm.
And basically she was saying how like she looked like she would be like a bad mother or like things like that. And I'm like, I don't think that at all. Like I don't know why she feels that way. Like people love her.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the bad guy in quotations or the villains in quotations is like Yoli and Mildred that look like the bad guys. So like
I
during the
guess so.
reunion, I don't know, I feel like Ma felt like she looked like shit on TV. Did
Some I feel like some of the reunion was a little bit questionable because it was
mhm.
just like, did we miss something? Like,
Well, we missed what happened afterwards, obviously.
yeah, so I think that that's where it's like, okay, like there's other things that happen after this mix. And I think what was the hit, like the hitter for Mal was seeing, like, there's one thing when you're filming it and you don't get to see shit, and then you don't see it until when everybody else sees it.
All
And you're
right.
like, wow, I didn't even know I portrayed myself to look that way.
I feel like they were being like 75% honest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
But then when you saw the show, it's like, oh girl, like
there was some missing links.
y'all was not getting closure. What is going on?
Mm.
But yeah, those are our thoughts on the ultimatum, good and bad. Like I said, this is what we're seeing on the internet. This is what we saw online. Um, there's this girl who's like got like doing like little like clips about like a lot of things that went on during the ultimatum, and she was hitting a lot of good points.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, so before we close out of Pride Month, y'all, Pride
Are
Month
we doing
is
family meeting? Oh
coming.
wait, wait. Oh, sorry. Go.
Pride Month is coming to an end. So y'all got one last chance to party with us, to come
Literally.
see us, meet us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the weekend of the 25th, that Sunday, we all know that's like New York's Pride Day. It's always
Mm-hmm.
like the last Sunday of the month.
Right.
We will not be at the parade,
Mm-hmm.
but we will be attending a party out in, where is this?
It's near Times Square. It is
Oh
called
shit, I didn't know that.
HK Hall. It is in Hell's Kitchen. We're gonna be there with a lot of people who are promoting it, like Las Reinas. They throw a lot of parties in
Yes.
Queens. There's gonna be burlesque dancers. There's gonna be someone from The Voice performing. There's gonna be Tiff's best friend who was on the ultimatum. Natasha's gonna be there.
Oh,
And
no.
yes, the address is 605 West 48th Street in New York City, in Hell's Kitchen near Times Square. It has 2 floors, 4 DJs, 4 bars,
It's the 15 bathrooms for me.
15 bathrooms. Like we need that.
Oof.
We need that.
Yeah.
And the kitchen's gonna be open all day and night. So
Get
if
your
you're
grub on.
hungry, you're right.
Drinks, bottle specials, hookahs,
Mhm,
everything. It's just gonna be the big bang
mhm.
to close out Pride Month. Um, Again, shout out to Las Reinas. They throw bomb ass parties,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's where we're gonna be. So come catch us, come get litty with us, show love. It's our last queer celebration,
It really
and
is.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I hope to see some of you guys there.
Yes. East Coast loving, you heard? Anyway, quick family meeting. Woo, weird. This is a long one. We can't.
We could just do two.
I want to say we came back with the juice.
Right, right.
All right. So first question: my girlfriend and I have been together for 2.5 years, and we have not had sex. This how we starting?
Mm-hmm. Tragic.
She suggested on multiple occasions that we were going to finally have sex, and it never happened. I feel like she has no desire to have sex with me, even though she says she does. It seems like she isn't interested in me. in the way that I am, and I don't know what to do because I'm ready now to have sex. Why doesn't she want me in that way? I can't ever get straight out answers from her on why we aren't doing anything after 2.5 years.
She's not gay. Like, just stop it. Or she could be like asexual. That's isn't that what it's called?
I guess. But I
I don't
still
know.
feel like you would try, you
Yeah.
know, to really hold out. And I just don't know. How are you in a relationship for 2.5 years and never experience a sexual experience with each other?
Mm-hmm.
That is very questionable to me. I can understand being together that long and not having sexual interactions as often
Mm-hmm.
or anymore, but to never have had it and you're in a relationship for that long, mm-mm.
Yeah,
It would
2.5
have been a
years is
red
so
flag after
long.
365 days.
Right. Oh, that's too long. 365 days too
That is
long. That's
too
too
long.
long.
I'm being nice here, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know how you stuck it out that long. I can understand.
Basically 3 years.
Yeah. I
Yeah, nah.
understand trying to be respectful of people and not wanting to force them into anything that they're not with, but where do you get that sense of, like you said, do you want me in that way? Like that kind of brings up a lot of insecurities,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think lasting that long I wouldn't have made it.
Yeah, that's too long, honestly.
Not even just the not having sex part, but it's just like there are other ways to share intimacy. We've
Mm-hmm.
talked about that with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So sex doesn't have to be the main thing, but to not have shared that once throughout the
It's a little
relationship,
odd.
yeah. Yeah. What are you hiding? Yoni eggs?
Stop.
No shade. No, listen, it might be the time for you to give her the ultimatum. Tell her, listen, I'm not understanding. I
Mm-hmm.
need legitimate answers here, or whatever it is that we're not sharing this experience. If you don't want me in that way, then that's okay. I can go. But at least, you'll have the understanding. You'll actually know. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know, that's really hard, but I hope that that has turned around for you.
I agree.
Question number 2. When me and my girlfriend started talking, it was clear we liked each other. But because she was younger, I have never dated anyone. I was nervous to start anything. Plus, it was long distance. A year later, I decided to go see her and even stayed in the same house as her. However, an important detail is that she is still in the closet living with family. While staying with her, I had my first kiss and other things. We decided to get in a relationship and be exclusive, but recently she's been talking about how she wants to experiment with other people and maybe never come out. These are all my fears that I had told her about when we first started dating. I plan to see her in 2 weeks. What should I do? I mean,
By the time she,
you probably seen her already.
oh my God, but this was her first kiss. Like, this is definitely like first girlfriend or something. You're probably young. Um, Interesting. You guys decided to get into a relationship and be exclusive, but then she started talking about how she wants to experiment with other people. So this is like an open relationship.
I,
If
I
this is your first relationship, I would definitely not recommend doing an open relationship.
I think that that was like a gateway to be like, I tried it.
Didn't like it.
Yeah,
Not for
yeah.
me.
Like maybe I'm
Gay.
not even gay. Maybe I'm just like not feeling
They
like
haven't come
like
out?
once you've exceeded the kissing and the other things, and you're like, okay, well that was cool, but I don't feel the emotional attachment
Yeah, I feel like they should have just broke up with you rather than trying to open the door
to
into having
exploring.
exploring. There's literally like an open relationship. That's not for everybody.
I think people, again, we've said this before, people do shit like that because they're scared to break it off.
Right. Like, be real.
Just you do people more of a disservice to just be like, listen, I tried, this isn't working for me, it's nothing that you're doing, I'm just not into it.
Right.
I think you deserve better to go on another way and find someone who works better for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just be real, people. Be
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, they sent this a while ago, but I hope that either this was straightened out or like that you guys are not together anymore.
Yeah. But that's it. That's all we have for this episode.
That is all. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe.
Deuce, deuce, mother goose.
Bye.